Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is my hope and prayer that this video is actually going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I'm fine. Kisumu is also fantastic. Maybe you could let me know where you're watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are outside the republic. A few days ago on this channel, for those who follow the channel, I opined that Raila Odinga has actually managed to place William Ruto, Rigathi Gachagua, and Kenya Kwanza right at the place he wanted them to be. And to achieve that, Raila Odinga wanted to be at the center of Kenya Kwanza politics. And last week, William Ruto led his brigades, I think it was over the weekend, William Ruto led his brigades to a church function somewhere in Kirinyaga. Each and every person who spoke at that event talked about Raila Odinga. Basically, Raila Odinga was the subject at that particular event. And that's exactly what Raila Odinga wanted. So Raila Odinga arrived back into the country yesterday from South Africa. And he headed straight to Kamukunji grounds. He wanted to tell his supporters what next. Because a few days earlier, some IEBC whistleblower, working very closely with some international bodies, had released results, IBC 2022 true results. And in those results, Raila Odinga won the presidency. So the supporters were really waiting for Raila Odinga. And the Kenyans were also waiting for the response from none other than the president himself. And the president found a good opportunity to respond to Raila Odinga in Gatundu South. Gatundu South is the home county of the former president Uhuru Kenyatta. Again, Gatundu South, also one of the counties in Kiambu. Kiambu was mentioned as the counties where Raila Odinga won, but William Ruto rigged himself in. So William Ruto responded to Raila Odinga. And in this video, I want us to look at that response by William Samoei Arap Ruto. But before we do that, in case you are watching this channel for the first time, I want you guys to take a second or two. Click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is now. Let us get back to the main issue. And I want to begin this video just by playing for you a short clip of William Ruto giving his speech, responding to Raila Odinga in Kiambu. And I want you guys to pay very close attention to William Ruto's voice and his body language, the gestures. Pay very close attention, listening.
Kushinda Uhuru akakuwa rais. Sasa mtawezana na hii hasla kweli? Kwa sababu unajua hawa watu hakuna kitu wanataka. Hii ni watu wanapanga tu mambo ya nusu mkate, sijui wanatafuta handshake. Mimi nataka niwaambie mapema mchana. My friends, sahau mambo ya handshake. Na msituambie ya kwamba ati hamutaki handshake. We can see you, si tunawajua. Hii ukora yenu ya kila siku tunajua. Mlifanya ukora pale, Moi akawaweka kwa ile ilikuwa inaitwa sijui ilikuwa inaitwa cooperation. Mukalete fujo hapo na maandamano kidogo, mukapata nusu mkate kwa Mheshimiwa Kibaki. Mukakuja mukalete ukora hapa na maandamano kidogo, mukaweka vitisho kwa Uhuru Kenyatta, akapanga handshake. Sasa mnafikiri mnaweza kunipangia mimi ati maandamano? Ati mupate chochote kutoka kwangu? You are dreaming.
I observed three things. Because in this video, I want us to try and analyze. But before we analyze the speech, I observed three things. The first thing I observed is that William Ruto is actually shaken. He's putting a brave face. And that's why he's using reverse psychology.
Hiyo barabara haipitiki tena. Mimi, the concession I'm going to make ni kwamba kila mwananchi wa Kenya irrespective of how they voted, the government of Kenya is going to serve them. But the government of Kenya is not going to be blackmailed.
It's very clear from the body language, from the tone, and even the way he was speaking. The other thing I observed is that William Ruto is still very keen on creating a narrative that Raila Odinga and whatever he's pushing for is about individuals and individuals. That the push for electoral reforms will only benefit Raila Odinga. What Ruto is failing to understand is that Raila Odinga was voted for by 6.9 million people.
Na mimi nataka niwaambie hawa watu wamezoea vibaya, kwa sababu hii ukora yote wanafanya, hii njama yote wanafanya, hii maandamano yote wanafanya, hawafanyi kwa manufaa ya mwananchi, wanafanya kwa manufaa ya ubinafsi wao, familia zao, biashara zao na wao wenyewe. Mimi nataka niwaambie my friends,
William Ruto was voted for, according to IBC, that one if you say, okay, the elections were free and fair, they were the best, William Ruto was voted for by 7.1 million votes or people. So the 6.9 million people who voted for Raila Odinga will always listen to Raila Odinga. But William Ruto is trying to create a narrative, and it sells, especially in the mountain, that what Raila Odinga is pushing for is individual. They sold that, it never worked. The other thing which came out from that particular event in Kiambu, which was a funeral, by the way, is that William Ruto and the entire brigades avoided attacking Uhuru Kenyatta. And the question is, why do you think they avoided attacking Uhuru Kenyatta? Because Raila Odinga had actually told them to stop.
Na mwisho nataka kuambia waze kutaja jina ya Uhuru kila siku. Uhuru ametoka kwa serikali, aliwachia serikali, gharama maisha ilikuwa bado inawezekana, bei imepanda baada ya Uhuru kutoka, lakini Uhuru Kenyatta alisimama imara na sisi. Watu yake walipiga sisi kura, iliibiwa. Nasema asanteni sana watu wa mkoa wa Magharibi wakati wakunipiga mimi kura Raila Odinga. Nitakuja kusema asante, nitakuja kutoa shukrani, lakini
Now, let us get now into what I observed. The first thing William Ruto is telling these people is that Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Karua, and the entire brigades are only keen on one thing, the handshake.
Kwa sababu unajua hawa watu hakuna kitu wanataka. Hii ni watu wanapanga tu mambo ya nusu mkate, sijui wanatafuta handshake. Mimi nataka niwaambie mapema mchana, my friends, sahau mambo ya handshake.
Raila Odinga made it very clear in his speech that he doesn't want handshake. He told the Kenyans publicly, which means that is what he told the Kenyans. If tomorrow Raila Odinga will wake up with a handshake with Ruto, then it will mean a different thing. So for now, if you are to believe Ruto and Raila, who do you believe?
Sasa wameitisha mimi ati hao jamaa ni watu ambao wanapenda mambo ya kufanya maandamano, ati wanataka handshake, sijui nini. Nasema hapa leo sitaki mambo ya handshake. Nataka kwa handshake kwa
Who do you believe? So for me, William Ruto has found a soft spot that Raila had a handshake with Uhuru And therefore, that's the same thing. But if you look at the situation in 2017, which led to the handshake, the truth of the matter is that after that election, Raila Odinga told his supporters not to bother. And none other than Kipchumba Murkomen himself was on record as telling Kenyans that he started spotting something immediately after the 2017 election. Actually, before the 2017, actually it was like after the 2013 election, he realized that there were certain issues, Uhuru and Ruto. So that handshake actually saved Uhuru Kenyatta. That's what Ruto is not telling these people. So Raila Odinga is telling him, we don't want the handshake. William Ruto is telling them, we know you, we want the handshake. So for me, I'll stop supporting Raila Odinga if Raila Odinga will pursue handshake with Ruto. He has to decide to be either opposition or not. If you were to pursue handshake, I've supported him, I'll leave. The second thing which Ruto is trying to do is the usual thing, cost of living, and the lies on it. If there's any individual in this country who is known for lies, tell me that individual, if not William Ruto. William Ruto is quoted telling these people, and the funny thing, people were clapping, that he's trying to reduce the cost of living. That unga was actually 230. And now it's trading between 180 and 100 and 200. And he's blaming the handshake for that. Listen in briefly to him.
Bana. Kwanza nyinyi mnatuharibia wakati. Mulikuwa na serikali. Mukaharibu serikali. Bei ya unga ikapanda. Sasa hii mnaongea bei ya unga imepanda. Na nyinyi you are the cause. Saa hizi tumetoa at least 230, imefika hapo karibu 180. In another 6 months itakuwa imefika 120. So nyamazeni tuwafundishe vile ya kuendesha maneno ya Kenya.
Now that's your president. The truth of the matter is that when Ruto came into power, he promised Kenyans that immediately will akiweka mabelia chini, the cost of unga will automatically come down. At some point, William Ruto told Kenyans, actually Rigathi Gachagua, that it's Raila Odinga who is delaying. For example, is delaying them from increasing the salaries for police and for reducing unga because of the petition, during that petition. So immediately they won the petition, Kenyans expected them to lower the cost of unga. But William Ruto is now saying that they lowered it. The truth of the matter is that immediately William Ruto took over, the first thing he did was to remove all the subsidies. And they gave so many justifications. The moment they removed every subsidy, the cost of unga went up. The cost of everything in this country went up, including fuel, which Uhuru Kenyatta had actually lowered. So William Ruto increased the cost of fuel, for example, by 20 bob. And this is what Raila Odinga is telling them. And is blaming them because Raila Odinga is telling Kenyans that this regime is increasing taxes, and therefore you guys must resist. The other thing I observed from this statement is that William Ruto is now dodgy about the issue of Wafula Chebukati abduction. You know, William Ruto would always attack Raila when he's in Central, and he will always attack Uhuru when he's not in Central. Probably because he accused Uhuru of trying to abduct Wafula Chebukati, he then now tried to evade it. And funnily, people were clapping for him because he's talking of Rivayala, people who are eliminated. You know, this what we are calling extrajudicial killings in this country, which is unfortunate. It took place during Kibaki era. It took place during Uhuru era. It will take place during Ruto's era. But the fact that these people were eliminated, I don't think they were related to Wafula Chebukati in any way. So William Ruto should not draw a link between Wafula Chebukati abduction and the Rivayala. You know, there are people who are found to be involved in some criminal activities. Most of these people were eliminated. So far, you can't pinpoint any political assassination or elimination in this country to Uhuru Kenyatta. There's none, apart from the issue of Wafula Chebukati. I mean, not Wafula Chebukati, Chris Msando. You can also link him to the death of Jacob Juma. Those are high-profile political assassinations which took place when Uhuru was the president.
Mnatuambia ya kwamba ati mambo haikupangwa. Kwani wale watu walikuwa Yala River, miili ya watu imejaa huko, walijipeleka kwa Yala River? Si kuna watu walipanga? Hawa ambao wanatuletea story. So please, mambo ya impunity ambayo mumezoea, we are going to bring impunity to a stop in Kenya.
But beyond that, and the other thing I also observed from William Ruto's statement is that he's actually blaming the handshake for debt in this country. He's the president, he's still blaming handshake. Well, it's a known fact that William Ruto used to defend borrowing. The over-borrowing in this country took place in 2013, 2017. Over-borrowing. Azimio, NASA or CORD at that time made so much noise about it. It never ended. Actually, the reason why Kenyans overborrowed was because a project like SGR, which Uhuru and Raila, which Kibaki and Raila initiated, the cost was tripled. Ruto was the deputy president, very close with Uhuru. But he's now blaming them. And if you read the papers, the dailies today, just get any daily, there's the issue of overborrowing. Kenya Kwanza government has borrowed more than Jubilee government already. They're in power for 3 or 6 months. They've overborrowed more than Jubilee. William Ruto is still blaming Uhuru and Raila. And this is why Raila Odinga must come up very strongly and on specific issues and use these rallies. Like, for example, I think, is it on Sunday or Monday, he will have another rally in Jakarta. He can continue using those rallies to actually continue poking more holes. He can pick on a specific issue, like if it's the cost of living. Explain to Kenyans, Jamali Kuja, he found the cost of unga was this. Right now, this is how much it is. And this is how he arrived at that particular cost. Right now, I'm just reading the papers that a mysterious investor went to the Nairobi Stock Exchange and bought all shares of Safaricom. Guys, bye-bye.